Hello and welcome back, everybody. Long time no see. It has been way too long, to be perfectly honest, since my last video, last recording, whatever. Uh, it's your boy, obviously, Rob. I want to shout out everybody that has been helping my Twitter crowd grow. My Twitter family's been growing. We've been active. And I want to do a quick shout out. Those of you who won't see it, you can watch it on YouTube. My SABL team won the championship. D2 championship, baby. Let's go. Danny, Safraz, Edgar, Ant, AJ, Ryan, Brian. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. And anyway, back to business, right? So we know draft day happened. We saw what happened. We had the 11th pick overall, and next thing you know, things kind of just went into a spiral. Leon Rose traded the 11th for multiple first-round picks to the Thunder. The 11th pick being Usmani Dieng, and project player from France. I think he's from France. The Thunder get another pick. Basically, they wound up getting Jalen Williams, who I was very upset about, but I have a feeling really what ended up happening was Leon Rose saw the guys that he wanted, taken a few picks prior, and was just like, you know what, never mind. Ultimately, we don't even know if that draft pick really gets a chance to play for Tom Thibodeau's Knicks. We see how stubborn he is already with some of the young guys. But ultimately, what happened on draft day was cap space clearing. Kemba Walker got traded as well with some seconds to Detroit. He's likely going to be dumped and, end up somewhere where he can get paid and play and maybe play. I don't know. He probably just go to like the Lakers or something, be on a contender, maybe go ring chase. Because clearly he's past his time. So Knicks clear up some cap space with that deal, and name that's been hot for months now is Jalen Brunson. As you guys all know too, Dejounte Murray was in the mix for some potential trades to the Knicks. That's not going to happen. That's already now been iced. I guess you want to say iced tray. He's going to the Hawks. Danilo Gallinari and a few first-round picks the other way, unprotected by the way. So the Spurs do win out a little bit. But the Hawks want to contend and compete. Dejounte Murray is a good side kick, I guess, to Trae Young in the backcourt there in Atlanta. He'll definitely hide some of the bad parts of Trae Young's game, which is really his defense. I mean, incidentally, Jalen Brunson is small himself, and people kind of shit on his defense as well. And there was a chart that I saw pretty much pairing up and sizing up Brunson to like Quickly, Rose, and McBride. And all their defensive metrics were kind of similar. Brunson was a little bit bad on the perimeter and on ball altogether. But his off-ball defense was nice, the numbers were showing, which is actually kind of reassuring, given the Knicks have almost like no help defense presence at all recently. I think Brunson would work out, man. A lot of people I see are complaining about his price tag. $27.5 million a year is really not that bad, and I think he's worth that. All you have to see is his last 2 seasons as a player. He averaged 50% shooting from the field, efficient three-point shooter, I think just about league average, if not a little bit more or less, like a little bit. Minimal volume. He's more of an inside guy, ironically, and he's 6'1". I mean, if I'm not mistaken, his rim percentages were pretty crazy. I'm currently in the process of looking him up. Sorry, the clicks. I might have to click some more to log in and get the actual stuff. Oh, no, okay. So, yeah, this guy is 6'1", and as a starter was 68% accurate at the rim. That's within 4 feet of the basket. Floaters, little bank layups, hook shots, 68% for a 6'1" guy. 51% short mid, 48% long mid, 50% all mid range in the 89th percentile. Corner threes, he was in the 90th percentile. Granted, he only took 78 attempts there, but still very efficient. Non-corner threes, that's elbow extended, top of the key, etc. 32%. Altogether 30%, 37% from three. I don't see flaws in his offense. I mean, if you watch the postseason, the playoffs this year, you saw him kind of carry the Mavericks a little bit when people thought they were kind of down and out against the Jazz without Luka, who got hurt right before the playoffs began. And, I mean, he was throwing up like mid-30s. He threw up a 40 piece against the Jazz, I believe in a win, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been a loss. I don't remember the exact trajectory and path of the team in the first round. But, I mean, you check stats, StatMuse, that account on Twitter has been sharing stuff. He was averaging like 22, 23 points, about like 5 boards or 5 assists, and a few boards or a few assists. It was like, 4 or 5 of either of the two counting stats. And on good efficiencies, man. And that's playing as a number 2 to Luka Doncic, arguably undersized for the position that he's supposed to be playing on offense, too. And the numbers still speak for themselves. I didn't double check his postseason numbers as far as like efficiency and frequency of where he's taking these shots. But you look at his defensive metrics even, and there's only like 3 lineups that he had a relatively tough time defensively, and all of which kind of sported Dwight Powell, who's in question a lot, I believe, amongst Mavericks fans, especially right now. They just got Christian Wood as well. I think Powell's kind of just like, eh. I don't think I really liked Powell for a long time. So I can't really speak good on him. I think I might have stuck up for him like one time a couple years back. But, Brunson, I think, is a lot better than people make him out to be. Trading all those assets for Dejounte Murray would have been nice in a way. I was really only into one or the other, not both at the same time. I think, paying the money that you'd have to pay Brunson is probably more worth future assets being given up. $27.5 million for a point guard that plays the way he does. I mean, he just made a Western Conference Finals on all that, yada, 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 the stuff I was just saying. And I think $27.5 million a year for a few seasons, especially when with the rising salary cap every year, is kind of just going to be proportionate. It might even be considered like a bargain down the line, kind of how we looked at Julius in a way, which I guess maybe that's kind of what's fueling some of the concern here is, not so much. Julius had an All-NBA season and was an All-Star and, made the postseason, and, $20-something million a year was a bargain for that. But obviously we saw the end result here. I guess I could see people kind of thinking, though, that while Brunson wasn't an All-Star at all or All-NBA by any means, something similar could happen. Knicks fans have a lot of trauma to deal with regarding signing certain players and kind of overvaluing certain people. I get it. I've been a part of the fan base for now 10 plus years. So I've also been there for certain people, like hyping certain people up and then it doesn't work out. And then there's also the situation with Kyrie and Durant where, the Kristaps trade happened and cap space was made, but cap space was not used for those people. So, I mean, even as we speak, there's rumors. I'm not really paying attention to my phone or the Twitter feed right now, but there's news about Brunson possibly meeting with other teams in free agency. I mean, he's allowing meetings. That's just how it's going to go. Mark Cuban's apparently sitting in on some of the meetings. And I know Cuban is not one to shy away from wanting to keep guys. I mean, Brunson's Luka's best running mate at the moment. So it's kind of a big loss if Dallas doesn't get anything for it. He just walks. But, he apparently wants to meet with the Heat, the Knicks, and the Mavericks again, obviously, to hear their pitch and kind of just see what they want to give him to try and maybe retain him, I mean. I don't know what his the odds are that he goes anywhere but the Mavericks. A lot of people seem kind of dialed in. There's Knicks sources, Ian Begley, et cetera, saying that Brunson is all but certain to be a Knick at this point. So I wouldn't mind it. I think it works. I think Brunson, he's kind of ball dominant in and of himself, but he's the right kind of ball dominant to a degree. I mean, he's going to be initiating the offense, running the floor, guiding these guys. I think we could get Julius Randle back on track with him. A lot of people are like, people are concerned about whether he's moving the needle or not. I saw a commenter on Reddit mention how certain Knicks fans think that Brunson is a championship builder. I would argue that that's not even a large majority of the fan base. I would say I don't even know. I don't myself even. I don't think Brunson is some contender maker. I don't think he's some championship bringer. That's not what it's about, though. He's about to be 25 or is already 25. He's a good player, first of all, and mainly of all. And, I mean, here's the thing. I was cool with just starting IQ. Get Emmanuel quickly his reps, give him some starting minutes, see where things go. At this rate, I mean, if Evan Fournier is sticking around, it's kind of hard, but you could even run IQ with Brunson, to be perfectly honest. It's not a bad pairing. That's actually a great pairing of players, or at least down the line. It's not great because it hasn't proven anything yet. We haven't seen it happen. Brunson isn't even officially a Knick yet. But I think it would be a good pairing. I think if you have to let IQ just operate the bench role and be the first guy off the bench and he's the first guard, like the Lou Williams role that we've kind of seen for him since he got drafted, so be it. There's nothing wrong with that. He can be a six-man guy. Like, guys make a killing of a career off the six-man. Look at Jamal Crawford. Look at Lou Williams. Look at, Manu Ginobili. Like, guys like that. I know that's only 3 examples, and I know that's kind of a stretch, but anything's possible. I just think it's worth it for Brunson. I think the Knicks need a starting caliber guy, a guy who's proven himself with starting minutes, a guy who isn't shying away from, the big moment. I watched a couple of plays of Brunson earlier from some video reel. I think he had a couple clutch shots and stuff. I think he's a good player to have. He's going to be I don't know if you want to call it a glue guy, but he can mend the Knicks, I would say. And honestly, that's just a step in the right direction at that point. People will say that we might just stay in mediocrity and limbo and not progress anywhere. But I think getting Brunson or a guy like Brunson would prevent the mediocrity. I think it would get us out of the rut and towards a culture and environment where the team actually knows what they're doing on the court and it's not stagnant. I mean, he's pretty quick off the dribble. He can orchestrate the pick and roll, and he can, motivate guys that are otherwise kind of problematic right now, like Julius Randle. I don't see why Julius Randle doesn't get less usage. Usage in such that he doesn't have the ball in his hand for 60% of the shot clock, and then, does a last-minute dribble move that fails. I think that's kind of what's been missing, man. The Kemba Walker was supposed to be that, and he couldn't successfully do that for the Knicks, and he was a horrible defender. Brunson might be a little bad on defense, but offensively is arguably better than any of the point guards the Knicks really have other than Derrick Rose. Obviously, I do like Quickly, and I do like his offensive presence. Shooting under 40% from the field because he's a volume three-point shooter, though. And, he's had his moments with the assists and stuff, but it just wouldn't hurt to have at least a little bit longer, just like a point guard that knows what they're doing and has a track record of success, whether it be just making the playoffs or having a deep run like he did. And I mean, incrementally, actually not early on incrementally, Brunson was improving. He had a career year this year, so It's like I mentioned to my buddy Richard, Mavs Draft on Twitter, that I saw 50% from the field back-to-back years, and I was sold on Brunson. Like, that's all you need, really. Like, that's impressive in and of itself right there. So, something to look forward to, I think. Free agency technically begins July 1st, but I guess verbal agreements starting tomorrow can be had. The moratorium is weird. I don't know. I've barely been following that, to be honest. Um, I, I don't want to war. I don't want to make Knicks fans feel like they need to fear the rejection of Brunson. I do think there's a pretty good chance he's here. If you don't like it, I mean, to each their own. A lot of people preferred Murray, but I feel like the asking price for Murray was a lot worse. And Brunson's not even the only thing. There's a lot of mysterious stuff going on and people talking about, oh, this could happen, that could happen. Guys opting out of player options, such as Bradley Beal, James Harden. I don't think we get James Harden when I say that. Bradley Beal, maybe, but I doubt. He's been kind of vocal about wanting to kind of do something with Washington and build something. Maybe he just wants to get paid, to be perfectly honest. Maybe he doesn't care about the championship stuff, but there's options. Mitch Robinson is still need to be signed. I heard some rumor today that 4 years, $60 million was on the table. So anything's possible with that. I saw something about Mo Bamba was rumored to have interest from the Knicks, I guess. He's a unrestricted free agent, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't extended the qualifying offer, so I think he can make his own decision at this point. I'm not sure that the Magic really have a say in anything. I'm not really well versed and educated in this stuff. I know that you have to make salaries match for certain things, and that's about it. There's a lot of collective bargaining agreement stuff, trade exceptions that I'm just now picking up and understanding a little bit better in the past couple days. So, a lot of stuff coming out and a lot of stuff to consider. We got one more day really before any of the crazy stuff happens, and then about a week before things become official. So, the Knicks have about 30. I think it's about 30 million in cap space at this point. After that Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks trade as well. By the way, another Pistons trade that happened with a couple second round picks involved, and they get Noel and Burks off the books. Burks, who by the numbers actually wasn't that bad last year, individually at least. But if you look at the lineup that he had the most possessions with, I mean, the numbers were bad. And Noel, he gave us a good year. Not last year, the year prior, obviously. Big 15 year. But he was just disastrous. It was, honestly, it's almost like Mitchell Robinson kind of like plagued him with his own issues this season. So Nerlens Noel is gone. I wish him the best. He was brick hands and kind of annoying last year and the year prior. Burks was pretty annoying as well, especially in those starting minutes as point guard. But, good player. He's a hooper. I can't even deny that. He just annoyed me a little bit. And I wish them nothing but the best. Detroit looks like they're building something nice over there. I haven't seen too many of the rumors surrounding Miles Bridges anymore. But Miles Bridges may be going home, potentially. I think Detroit's his home. Oh, no, it definitely is, because I think he was born in Michigan. So, yeah. I kind of just wanted to hop on the mic and discuss this stuff. I haven't really had a chance to sit down and do this, work life and all that. But yeah, things are getting crazy. Not too crazy. There are rumblings that more is going to happen besides Brunson. Brunson is not the only person in the mix for going to the Knicks. Part of the rhyme. And I couldn't even tell you with certainty who else goes anywhere. We saw Will Barton and Monte Morris get traded today to the Wizards for Ish Smith and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, which is I think a nice move for them. Maybe not so much for... I think it was really just to get something out of Barton. Apparently Barton wanted out. Morris is an okay player, but Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a defender, a nice defender and a good shooter. And realistically, just getting length and wings around Jokic and guys who could shoot threes is never a bad time. So, what else did we see? We saw Dejounte. I already mentioned that. Um, bound to see some more trades and other activity going on. So hopefully the Knicks get to come out of the offseason winners of something. The Brunson. Wouldn't say there's a Brunson sweepstakes. There's not many teams pursuing him. I don't know if that's just due to teams thinking he's just going to stick with Dallas, or they just don't want to try and cramp up their backcourt rotations. A lot of teams already have established starting point guards. The Knicks do not, so that's where it works. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for stopping by and listening, watching. As usual, follow, like, and share is appreciated as always. I think I dropped like one or two extra designs. I'm now on Teespring, not Redbubble. If you feel like ever looking out for there, getting you or yourself or a loved one who's a Knicks fan some gear, merch. Might drop a holiday code July 4th for July 4th. Start off the holiday with a bang, so to speak. But yes, folks, thank you so much, and that will be all from me. Have a great night, and enjoy free agency.